like Hocus Pocus or all the 90s stuff. It was the kind of show for you. If you're not into that, you're not gonna like the show. So
it was better than I thought it was gonna be. I was surprised.
I did like WandaVision, so maybe I should give Agatha.
It's a very rough extension of WandaVision. It's very rough. It's like, what I'm saying, very, very different. Nothing like WandaVision at all.
There's a similar atmosphere too.
It doesn't. I don't know if it does or not. To be honest with you,
I mean, they're in Westview. It's the same town. There's a lot of the same town people.
Yeah, that's true. They do bring back some characters from WandaVision, and that does make it feel kind of WandaVision-ish a little bit. Yeah,
it just doesn't have like the difference, and I will agree with Jeff. It doesn't have the emotional hook that you like from WandaVision. WandaVision had the perfect. It was about grief, and it was so cool how they did it. Where Africa was just, it wasn't about that, and so that's the hardest part you have to get into the show. So that's my opinion, and that's where I agree with Jeff. It doesn't have that emotional hook like certain like MCU projects that I like Loki or WandaVision or like Spider-Man No Way Home or something like that.
Well, this is excellent. This is excellent B-roll, Andres. Live.
I know.
Cyber's not here, so I can do a sneak live stream start. He hates it when I do that. But so it's Wednesday, 5/14/2025, here on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, and I'm here with Object and Pop Culture guy, Imran from Jock and Nerd podcast, and Darwin Diaz making his first appearance with us on the Bleeding Edge on the guest panel. So, hey guys, welcome to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, folks, and you gentlemen that have decided to join me tonight to review The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 5. Pretty short episode. Obviously, Imran, Darwin, you guys, this is your first time coming out for The Last of Us. So, my first question, obviously, will be, sort of, I guess, like your take on season 1, and from what you can remember of it, and kind of where you're at with the show, after episode 5, with 2 episodes left in the series, in the season, right? And I'll start with you, Imran, since you're you've got more seniority on the panel.
I'm just an old man. You can say it. It's okay. Look at me. I look like I'm 76 years old.
No, you don't look like you're 76 years old.
I'm only 37. No, that's not true either. No, look. So I love this show. I love the first season. Pedro Pascal is everywhere. I played a little bit of the first game, and then what I ended up doing was, while watching the first season, I was watching walkthrough videos of the game kind of as the show was going, so I could compare and contrast. It was very interesting. So for the second season, I did not play. I didn't watch any videos. I haven't played it. I didn't want to know. I wanted to just follow this journey, this version, this adaptation that Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann were going to give us. And I mean, this is HBO. It's prestige. It's top-notch TV. It continues to be, even in this season. So far we've had controversial choices and deaths thing, and I'm glad we got past that, because the whole time people who play the video game and are like, don't read anything, there's a big thing happening. But they kind of foreshadowed it, and you kind of saw it coming. But when it does happen, I'm talking about Joel's death, it's ballsy, it's crazy. I love when shows do that. I love when they do a Game of Thrones and just kill all your main characters. And so far I've been enjoying it. The middle of the season, these shows kind of start hot and end hot and kind of dip. So I feel like we're kind of in that little swell here as they're trying to make their way to the end. And I do know it's just half the game, so I'm not expecting her to get her full revenge. But the new cast members are great. Isabella Merced is going to be in everything this year. She's in this. She's in Superman. She could be a Peacemaker. And I'm not mad about it, because she's good to look at. She does a great job.
Who does she play in Superman?
She's Hawkgirl. She's gonna be Hawkgirl.
She's Hawkgirl. That's great casting.
Yeah.
And then so we'll see her a few more times. So the show hasn't let me down. Basically, it's continued to be top notch prestige. you know, I've loved The Walking Dead. The first few seasons were great. It reminds me a little bit of that, but it's its own thing. And the moral implications of what are happening, and it's, you know, it's good. And I think Bella Ramsey's doing a great job. I don't care what the internet said; they're all mad at her. She's doing a good job for me.
Okay, well, you know what? I mean, I agree. I think I agree with you for the most part. You know, I'm definitely. I think she's doing okay too. You know, I think that there's been some weak episodes this season, and I don't think it's all her fault. I'll put it.
Sure.
I'll put it that way. I think it's like I think it's distributed across the board as far as like, you know, the sort of ensemble cast that they have for the show. You know, but what do you think, Darwin? That I'll give you that same question, sir.
Yeah. So kind of jump into like the beginning of the question about season 1. I love season 1. I think they did a really great job adapting the game, but building on it in meaningful ways. Like from what I could remember from the game, the show plays out almost beat for beat with the game, with very slight changes here and there to kind of add a different taste to it and kind of elevate it in a different way to slightly diversify the experience. Kind of like it gives you a new approach to it. So I really love the first season. I think my only complaint with the first season was that it didn't feel as gritty as the game did. Because like playing through the game, it feels intense and like it's much more heavy hitting in terms of the action. Whereas with the show, it does kind of slow it down a bit. But that's kind of just me being a nitpicker in the sense of loving the game so much that going to the show, I wanted that same level of intensity, but it just didn't quite match it. But I still love the show. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 for like the season overall when it first came out. And so then leading into season 2, you know, I played part 2. I played the video game, so I knew the trauma that was going to happen. And so I was interested to see how they were going to do it, if they were going to stretch out the season to keep him in it as long as possible before doing it. And I know like early in the production, they were talking about how they were going to do things differently in the show than they did with the game. And so I thought that meant, oh, they're probably not going to kill off Joel, you know, till later in the season. But no, they stuck pretty closely to it. In episode 2, they killed him off. And it was heartbreaking, but I think they did a incredible job replicating it from the game, but giving you a little bit more context. Although I have heard some people complain that it gives you too much information, because I think what was special about the game was that it is an empathy check. It forces you to have empathy for Abby, you know, and what she did, even though she just gruesomely murdered your favorite character. And so it's a really good way to test a person's level of like empathy. Whereas the show, it doesn't give you the chance to have that empathy, because you immediately should understand, because it kind of feeds it to you, spoon feeds it to you, the information, which I think is good in terms of appealing to a mainstream audience. But I can see how people, you know, that are fans of the game might be a little ticked off about it. But I think Bella Ramsey has been phenomenal. I think she's a really incredible actress. She's doing such a good job as Ellie. I think the issues that people seem to have with Bella Ramsey isn't even an issue with Bella Ramsey. It's more so with the writing of the show. Like, I heard there were complaints, I think it was the episode before this, where she said, like, I'm going to be a dad.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I guess, were up in arms about it and saying, she's an awful Ellie. This isn't my Ellie. She sucks. And I was like, that's not really a Bella Ramsey issue. That's a writing issue. And they have, you know, they got to bring something new to the table and change it from the game. You know,
that part's not in the game. Is that part in the game?
No. So like
No.
the pregnancy thing that is in the game, but Ellie in the game, her reaction to it is like, you are a burden. Like, why would you come with me knowing that you're pregnant? You screwed this whole thing up. Yeah. Whereas here in the show, she's like excited to hear about that news. So it is different. And I was a little like, because I really want to see the rage from Ellie, and I feel like we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
Because like this season is very much about grief and rage, and like how do you process such a traumatic event?
Revenge. Yeah.
But with episode 5, like I feel like at the end of it,
Yeah.
they kind of hint to the bottom half of this season that it's going to like lean into the rage and to the grief. So I hope they follow through in the next episode. But I really enjoyed episode 5, and I'm loving Bella Ramsey, Isabella Merced. I think she's fantastic, and I think they're doing a really good job with the show. So that's like in a nutshell.
Yeah. Okay. You're not Iceman, Jeff.
Sorry, I'm having Wi-Fi issues, guys. I apologize if I'm like blinking in and out or whatever, but that's just because of my Wi-Fi issues. Andres, same question to you, sir.
Yeah, sure. I'm a new, viewer for The Last of Us. I haven't played the game, but recently I've been like going through the gameplay through YouTube. So I got through, I think, the first part. I haven't finished yet part 2. So, but yeah, I loved the first season. It was great. I mean, Jack, Emran brought before. I'm a huge zombie guy. I'm a huge apocalypse guy. Love the George Romero Nightly Dead franchise. 28 Days Later, like love that. I mean, got me into horror films. So when this was in the schedule, I was like, okay, let me check this out, and it was great. I mean, I love Pedro Pascal. Bella Ramsey, great. As the character Ellie. So far I've been enjoying season 2. I agree with Emran about this. It's always happened with seasons, right? You got the highs, when when the episode is going to be good and very high. Those are the episodes we're going to get. And always the mid part is always going to be the boring one, very slow, for reasons, for budgetary reasons, and, just serving, the good stuff for the end so that we can be satisfied. So that's what I'm noticing right now with season 2, which is great. And, any adaptation is different. I mean, you brought up before. Yeah, I actually forgot, because I saw this part in the shorts that, Ellie did reject, Deneen when she announced she was pregnant, and I saw that clip, and I was like, whoa, she chose vengeance over, starting a family. And I forgot about that last week. I was like, oh yeah, that's different. And that's fine. That's you're telling a different story here with this new version of the character that's different from the game. So, I agree with you, Darren. By the way, I like your last name, Diaz. My name is Diaz too. I just want to bring that out. But yeah, I agree with you say. The writing there, like last week's episode was so weak. The writing was so weak. Like it wasn't that scene that was bad. It was when Ellie had to convince Deneen about her immunity to the affected, and it was so like one of the worst awkward scenes. I think they could have done something that was more visually storytelling and more dramatic than the really awkward talk she was doing. So it, what else? It's like they were in the corner. It's like, how you want to reveal this to, this person to understand the, this ability she has. So, it's hard for writers to come up with like a very organic way to tell the story, So, I gotta say this week was so good. I mean, I gotta say, no one has brought this up. I think they've done a really good job of, really good cold openers for this show. Like if anyone knows what I mean, it's like James Bond, right? Before James Bond opened their movie, they have this like one singular like opener that's not even connected to the movie, but could be important later on. I really like that this season they have these really good openers to like get us in to the story that we don't know if this is going to be important or not. Like we got that with what was it? I think
Isaac. There was an Isaac.
Yeah.
And you can do different things, right? You can do a flashback. You can tell a little bit of the story before to set up. It's
exactly.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I was like, it was the Isaac one that it was a great way to introduce Jeff. Yeah, it was a great way to Jeffrey Wright to bring him in right away. And guess what? We saw him later in the episode, and so it was a really great payoff. So I really like this opening, like the fact that they did that, I say, okay, this is going to be a important episode, and then it was, So overall, I'm very excited to talk about this episode with you guys. I thought this was better than last week. Well, yeah, it's better than last week because despite the Jeffrey Rice stuff, there was some weak points, and I think this was more exciting. There was more action, which is good. We got the smart infected, which is great.
Okay. So episode 5 is titled Feel Her Love, which is kind of gay. And it's
Feel it.
Feel it, Jeff. Come on. Join the dark side.
I guess written by Stephen Williams, directed by Craig Mazin, or maybe it's the other way around. Let me see.
It's the other way around.
It's directed by first, so written by Craig Mazin. And essentially, based off of the Wikipedia blurb, it says en route to the hospital, Ellie and Dina encounter more dead Seraphites, which does happen, but it's a little bit later than like the actual start of the episode. The episode starts with them at that theater in Seattle, just chilling, basically, right? And bullshitting and whatnot, and exploring the theater essentially, right?
Well, before that, no, they set up. It's that they're at Fedra, and it's an exposition dump about the cordyceps turning into spores, and they sealed off the basements. And that lady.
Oh yeah, it's the interview. They have the interview with.
Yeah, she's checking in. She's like, "Why did you kill your own?" And it was her son. She killed her son, sealed it in because it's in the air apparently. Which it's an interesting.
They brought it over from the game.
They did.
But the first time you hear of it is this like exposition dump kind of right at the beginning. She's just telling us, but I like the twist. You didn't realize it was her son. So you set all this up. You got some floors sealed off. You won't go in there. We don't know what it looks like. Bad shit happened. But I was like, can't they still get through like the vents and stuff? I guess they just stay down there. It's fine.
I'm glad you pointed that out, Imran. That did occur. So there was that with the Wolves, they had like an interview type.
Yeah, that's your cold open
session.
Yeah.
And then it goes into Ellie and Dina. They talk about their plan and everything. And Ellie questions bringing Dina, but Dina reiterates her commitment to their quest for revenge. I think it's a bad move personally. I mean, we'll see how it ends up playing out overall, but they are ambushed by stalkers in an abandoned warehouse and saved by Jesse, who had arrived in Seattle with Tommy to look for the two. That covers basically their whole, them actually going on their mission and, ending up, ambushed by infected essentially, why they're on the way trying to go find Abby basically, right? I'll go to you first, Andres. What do you think about the whole opening of the episode?
Okay, so again, I was very happy. We got a great cold opener. I thought this was very good. First off, I said before, I saw the game through, and I didn't notice this, but it was kind of cool that now we're getting the spores air affected, which was great because I was like, when I was watching first season, I was like, oh, they didn't do that, and I was kind of wondering why. And then this is kind of cool. You're seeing now, this season, it hasn't been a point, but it's in the background. Is the affected and the overall mutate has becoming much more involved into a next stage of something that is maybe going to be more dangerous later on. We saw that with the one smart infected from the first episode, and obviously episode 2, the infected attacking Jackson. You saw they were very smart as well. So I kind of like that we're seeing, the infected are growing into something else. And
the one infected in that in that warehouse or whatever it was crying or moaning like a wounded person would do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And that was, I mean, by the way, even more scary was them doing the peekaboo. Was like, you didn't see me. Ah! I was like, what the hell? That was messed up. I was like, no, you did not do that to me, and they did, and so that was funny and scary at the same time. Yeah, uh, that's like I love that, and that's so cool that we're doing that this season. So, but yeah, and as Amber brought up before, you're getting this expedition done, which is kind of like boring, right? So the lady that we saw from last week, who meets Isaac, right? This is the leader of the wolves, right? Just to literate people that the wolves are separate from what happened with the government that was the enemy from last season, and it's like, okay, you say that, but then she started to have this like really like victimized kind of look, and like slowly she reveals like the spores is getting or in the air. I was like, oh my god. And then towards the end of the part when they revealed that it was my son, it was like, oh my god, that's just messed up and really sad that the fact that she chose like Daria, I think you brought up perfectly. We didn't get that with Ellie of choosing family, like vendors or family, but we saw that with a different way here by seeing the wolves really being awful people. Like the fact that this person let her son to die, basically be infected, to keep whatever they're in the hospital to be sectioned.
You gotta contain the virus. You gotta contain the virus.
Yeah, I gotta contain it.
Yeah, continue. Yeah, and so it just shows the paleo between, like, I think Ellie is gonna go in a different direction because when we get to the ending, she knows what Joe did. It's no secret. So like, we got that confirmed. So this revenge plot I think is going in a different direction for this version of Ellie, which we'll get into later on. So overall, I thought this opening was really great. Seeing just wrapping up like the whole Deneen and Ellie talking is really great. I like Isabel has been doing really great work this season. She's been my favorite character. She's a great actress. Have you seen her work like Dora? Has the live action movie. She was great there. She was decent in The Last Night. Despite that's the worst movie of the Transformers movies, but she was good in that. But she's doing a really great job this season. I really love her character. I think she really is bringing that spirit to that character from the games, which is really great. And at least she has chemistry with Belly, which is good. So I at least believe this love story. And yeah, you see she's doing her job, which is good. And she is committed to the story, which I like. She knows Joe. That's the thing that's different from the games because the version of D didn't know too well Joe. In the games it was just like passing, like he was like another community person for her. In this show, they did a really great job of like she's like another friend to Joe, like another daughter,
like a daughter. Yeah,
and Emran, I know you didn't play the game, but the difference was she was not captured in the game. That was actually Tommy.
It was. So, I know. It was Tommy and Joel were there.
That
out.
And so it was good that they changed that to Denis, because then she was able to figure out who was the people. Like as episode 3 did, she told.
She knew the names. She heard everything, so that was important.
Yeah, exactly. And so so I really appreciate that. So I like the way they're using this character in the show. I'm very curious. We'll get into it, but like it was interesting she got separated, this way, which is it makes more sense. And I'm curious how they're gonna get back to Ellie. So overall, great opening. Again, great cold opener. I was so happy they brought back the spore air. I was like, it feels different without it. But then I was like, yes, we got it. And just answer your question, Emily, how it's not in the air. Yeah, I don't know. Like there's some forests where like there's just some like the air is different here, but then it's
it just kind of stays where it's cold and damp.
Yeah, that's the only like explanation I could say.
I'll buy it.
Yeah,
it probably has to do with the length of the infection. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the final. That's probably like one of the final stages when you actually like connect to a wall. And create the spore environment. You know what I mean?
Right. Maybe it needs a certain humidity level, and it can't survive outside of that kind of thing.
The
But
way
that's
that
what
I've
creates
always
it.
thought of it is like dust. You know, like dust in
Yeah.
a house. If
It
you
always
leave a house
settles.
unattended,
Yeah.
it'll get dusty. Whereas
Yeah.
outside, you don't get dust.
Sure.
That's the only way it made. They've never explained it in the game, so that's just how it made sense to me that it's never gotten outside.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just think of it as dust. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cyber, we're discussing the opening of episode 5 up until the point where Jesse comes in and saves Dita and Ellie. Do you want to jump in?
Okay. So I really liked the intro with the Asian chick talking to the other person in charge, wherever you want to call her. That was really good. Then the Ellie and stuff I could not care less about.
Come on, they're in love, Cyber. Where's
I
your
could
passion?
give a two
Where-
shits about their lesbian love and her thinking she's a father. Anyways,
You're gonna be a daddy, Cyber.
and so I was like, oh god, I could do without this. And so when we get to the cult killing, as I like to call it, that was really great. I love that. And I was like, ooh, now we're getting into something good. Oh yeah. And then the dude popping up there, Jesse popping up, I was like, where the hell did he come from? I was like, that's interesting. And so I was like, all right, just in time for the cult stuff. I'm like, good job. I'm like, so I was like, that's awesome. So yeah, I liked that very beginning intro, which I thought that was fantastic about them explaining that the room is turning into spores and stuff like that. That was really awesome. And then we had all the blah, blah, blah. And then we get to the cult stuff going on, this cult, and you're just kind of like, ooh, what's going on here? These people are in the forest and they're sacrificing somebody for their sins. I'm like, okay, this is good. I'm like, oh, and how they slashed them too. I was just like, I'm like,
you would join that religion, wouldn't you, Cyber? If they tried to recruit you, you'd be like, let's go.
No, I've done religion. I've done religion for many years. I would not join another one. It's not worth it.
Not even one with cool sacrifices like that. Like that's just like a Tuesday night for them. It's a fun time.
Nah. I'd watch in a distance. I wouldn't want to be a part of it, but but anyways, yeah. So once we get to that part, I was getting into the episode, and I thought that was really cool. And then Jesse popping up was like, okay, there's the baby daddy. I'm like, so this is, I'm like, I as soon as I saw him, I'm like, that's the actual dad people. That's the actual. So I'm like, okay, not Bella Ramsey. She's not the dad. But anyways, that's when it gets good, and I enjoyed it. I started enjoying it. So yeah, I very interesting that the whole cult thing. I'm interested in seeing more about that group if they actually share more about them.
Okay. Thank you very much, Cyber. All right. So, Imran, go ahead, sir.
Look, I'm just gonna say the Isabel Merced has amazing chemistry with everybody. She's had everybody she's shared on the screen. It's amazing. But the more this goes on, the more I buy this relationship. But their plan is kind of dumb because they're like, look, I did all the math, and they go here and here. They don't go here. Let's just go there. There's probably a reason they don't go there. The look of Seattle is amazing. This apocalypse, just the shots of the cities and the growth and the buildings. Oh my god, I want to go and play in there. Looks great. Those smart walk clickers are terrifying, and these two girls were dead. They were dead. It was just a little bit convenient that he shows up when he does. That's all I'm saying. It's great. I was like, "Hi, you're not getting out of this. How you getting out of this?" Very convenient, but I'll give it a pass because it's just there's a lot of contrivances in this episode. Like the cult thing is great, but they just happen to show up at the right time for this meeting. They didn't, when they're having this whole thing. But the tension is great. That whole attack was terrifying. Oh, and then we get the story of Dita's first kill, and that was some nice backstory. I thought that was a nice backstory, what she's been through. But they seem a little lackadaisical. Just kind of going through this when I thought they were just supposed to be on this revenge trip, but they're just like, this is fun. They're just like, oh, this is great. This is fun. I don't know. It could use a little more urgency, but like you said, Darwin, at the end it gets there. So it's like it's a slow build up to it, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Imran. Yeah, I mean, the infected are sort of probably the coolest part of the show, it's anytime that they're utilized in an episode, it usually ends up being a pretty solid episode,
Yeah, every time, sure.
When they head in that direction, obviously in Seattle, there's a lot of infected, everywhere. It seems like, like when you go to certain places, they're around, you know what I mean? It's pretty dangerous. This was a pretty tension-filled episode, there was some pretty solid tension, filled scenes. And you're right, Imran. Say what you want about the writing, or the acting or whatever, but as far as how it's shot, the show, it's really well shot. It's great. It looks great. Yeah. Especially when it's daylight, it's beautiful. The way they shoot daylight, and it's very photogenic. Some of their shots, especially in season 1 when they had like some of those open landscapes. Yeah. When they were out there in the mountains and stuff like that in the snow.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so okay, guys. Where we end up at, after that, when is they get pursued, of course, by the WLF, and the three enter a local park and witness the Seraphites disembowel a WLF soldier. Dina is shot in the leg with an arrow, and Jesse carries her out of the park while Ellie creates a diversion to attract the Seraphites after evading them. Ellie continues to the hospital alone. And so I'll stop there again. And basically, during that time period, they get to the park and realize from like the pursuant of the WLF that the WLF doesn't follow them into the park, so it's obvious at that point that, this is kind of not good territory. They didn't know if there was going to be infected in there or what, but there was something, right? They bump into the Seraphites, which we knew was going to happen at some point. It had to happen, right? And it was pretty intense scene seeing the guy get disemboweled, pretty graphic. There was some pretty graphic shit in this episode, very HBO-esque, we get a really good pursuit, where Ellie gets chased by the Seraphites, in the woods. And that's all really well done. Like, I thought that was a really solid, really tension-filled set of scenes, before she breaks off and, heads over to the hospital, right? So I'll go back to you, Imran. What do you think about that section, sir?
Wait, should go to Darwin because you skipped him on the last round.
No, I didn't skip Darwin. Did I?
You did, but it's okay.
Darwin, why didn't you say anything, brother? I feel terrible now.
I had chimed in like one little response after Andres.
That must have thrown me off. Let me go over to you first then. Thank you, Imran. I appreciate you let me know about that.
I want to know what he thinks.
No, most definitely. Thank you for having my back, brother. So, Darwin, I apologize. Take as much time as you want since I skipped you on the first round, and just go ahead and take the time that you would have given me on that first section too.
So I like the scene, of course, like when they're, they get to the park and, they see the Seraphites killing the WLF agent or soldier, I should say. That is in the game. And Imran, to your point, in the game, it is a little bit like, they just conveniently show up as this is happening. But I can't remember if it was Ellie or if it was Abby somehow. But yeah, it is in the game. There is a little bit of a convenient, you show up as this is happening.
Sure.
But it really starts to like set the stage for, the rest of this episode. And they do a good job with it. And like, I like how they did the whistle. I can't whistle, so yeah. I can't replicate that whistle. But I like how they incorporated that because in the video game, it is terrifying. Like that was like hands down in the game. Whenever I would be playing, I hated hearing that whistle because I'm like, damn it, where are they?
They're out there.
And so they did a good job with that and how they replicated it into the episode in this sequence. It is convenient how Jesse kind of shows up. It's the same way in the game. Jesse kind of shows up a little bit conveniently, but he shows up differently here. And you just kind of have to accept it. You're like, okay, he's here now.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see how they'll, approach the Jesse, Dina, and Ellie love triangle like in the next episode, or maybe the following, because I think they might do a flashback for the next episode, from my assumption. But yeah, no, I really like this portion of the episode. It's really intense. I felt like at the beginning of the episode, I was a little disappointed because so far this version of Ellie isn't like as clever as she is in the game. Because in the game, she's really clever and I would say really smart, about how to navigate a situation, even though she's filled with rage. Whereas in the show, like the show opens this episode with Dina doing all the triangulation and Ellie's acting like she doesn't understand anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, she's not that dumb in the game. Like she's a little bit more quick thinking and able to figure out a solution to stuff. So what I enjoyed about this portion in the park is that they show how she actually is clever and can think on her feet because she has to quickly find a hiding spot as she's trying to get away from the Seraphites, and avoid being gutted like the WLF soldier. So it was really cool to see them finally like get back to the root of Ellie's character and how she actually is clever. And even though she's driven by anger right now, she can navigate a situation using her head. Not all the time, but for the most part, I feel like in the game she was pretty quick-witted. And so it was cool to see that in this section of the episode. And I'll get into my thoughts on the rest of the episode once we get there. But yeah, no, I like this episode. Some of the writing is convenient, but I can't really hold that against it too much. I'm trying to just like accept that this show is taking a lot more liberties with this season than the first season did. Because the first season stuck to it pretty close, whereas this season has taken a lot of different approaches.
Interesting.
That I'm trying to get on board with. But really, to Imran's point again, the landscape is just freaking beautiful. Like the cinematography is outstanding. And like I read that there's been a bunch of deleted scenes showing even more sets that they created that looked spectacular. And I almost feel cheated because I'm like, oh, I wish we could have seen that too. So maybe when they come out with the 4K of it, on DVD, maybe they'll include that in like the bonus features. Because no, the sets and the sights and the cinematography of how they've put this world together, it's been stunning. Really, really stunning.
Okay, now I'll go over to you, Imran.
We're going up to now. The end bit is amazing.
Up until the hospital.
Oh, up until the hospital. She gets to the hospital really quickly, also, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, so you're left. We have a wound. You have a wounded person. Dina takes an arrow to the leg, so that's not good. And they don't. The Seraphites live in the woods. No, it was good. I really don't have much to say about this part. I think I already said everything. The whistles are great. It's a very smart way to communicate. You can tell there's different whistles, and right away, you know what's going on. I'm curious about this religion. Like, who is this person that they look up to? What are the rules? Who started it? Is it like Judeo-Christian, Islamic at all, where they just make up new shit? Like, if you had to just make up that's what like Cyber was saying. Like, this religion intrigues me. What are the rules? What is the apostle? What is the gospel? I want to know. I don't know if I'd cut my face. I love how they have little scars. I don't know if I'd do that, but I'm curious as to what their story is.
Yeah, that's brutal having to fucking let your face get cut up that.
Yeah, it was like Joker. Like,
almost
fucking hardcore.
You're gonna make your smile bigger.
I would not cut my face for anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whoever this person is, man, she's convincing these people to cut their face. So that's impressive.
Yeah.
I will say in the game they give you some background on the Seraphites, but with how the show has been tackling things, I have a feeling they're definitely going to explore more of it and give us more explanation about who the Seraphites are, what they believe in, and why they believe in it. They give you some of that in the game, but not to the extent that like fully answers the questions. Whereas I think this show might take it a little bit further. So I am interested to see what they'll do with that.
That one shot where they're walking by and there's the graffiti of the thing and it says "Feel her love," and then there's all dead Seraphites and in spray paint it says "Feel this, bitch." I was like, oh my lord! Like that paints the picture right there, right? Of everything, this conflict. It just in that one image, it was great. It told me so much.
I'm glad you brought that part up. I forgot to mention, like, and I'm sorry, I'm someone that's like, oh, in the game they did this, and in the show they did this. I apologize in advance for my being snobby about it. I remember that part of the episode, and I was confused because when Ellie and Dina see that pile of bodies under the "Feel Her Love" sign or graffiti, Ellie is like in shock. She's like covering her mouth. She's like, oh my gosh. And I found that interesting. I'm like, Ellie in the game wouldn't react that way because she's so hardened, you know, and she's like, okay, you know, that's a pretty stinky pile of bodies, but, you know, this lets me know that this is another group to be worried about on my way to find Abby. So she's very kind of matter of fact about it. Whereas in the show, she's like, oh, more like startled by it. So I thought that was a little bit disappointing in terms of the translation of the writing, you know?
I mean, she's been living in this world 5 years now. You would think she has seen some shit. Yeah. And I mean, Dina pukes every time she sees anything, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just contrived. Like, oh, she's pregnant. Like, you know, it's that stupid. Like, yes, I get people are pregnant, but when you're pregnant, it's not always that. There's other.
No,
systems,
that's true. I forgot about the pregnant thing. We'll make her puke.
Yeah, that's the thing that's so funny about that. Now they brought that into the season. I mean, that's in the game, but it's just weird. Now we're having like that in top of these other things that, you know, Ellie's trying to do.
I mean, I will say all of it feels a little irresponsible. They have no regard for like this pregnant woman. They're just like, we're gonna do this. Let's finish this. It seems a little, these people just don't think things through, but I think that's part of the character in this.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, all right, let's get back to wrapping up you guys' thoughts on that section of the episode. Let me go over to you, Cyber. What do you think of that section, sir?
So, like I said before, this is where it gets more interesting. The chase, basically them trying to allow Isabel Merced's character and Jesse to get away, and Bella Ramsey, basically getting them to follow her instead. And, basically leading up to getting to the hospital. That portion is kind of interesting. It's kind of okay. It's all right. Not my favorite part of this section, but definitely, it got the point across and it got to where we needed to get. And I didn't think it was horrible, but at the same time, once the chase went on, there was kind of I felt it dragged a little too long to get to the hospital for me. And I think that it could have been just a little better. But overall, I think that it was decent and got to the point and allowed us some kind of, action and running and all that kind of good stuff. It really, when it gets to the hospital is when it gets really, really good. So I have to say that little section there probably is, kind of like the Isabel Merced, Bella Ramsey for me. It was a little, not the greatest, but it was okay.
Andres.
Yeah, so the first thing, or just the lead up to it, is very good, but very contrived, as everyone's been saying before. I know Jesse. I was kind of curious if they were going to do the, Jesse comes along from the game, and they did. I was like, oh wow, okay. And I was like, okay, I guess cool, and then like it was intriguing when they were going into the park. I was like, oh, and then the soldier stopped. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? It's gonna be a Walking Dead moment where like, they're gonna be infected, and nope, it was those crazy cult group. I was like, oh my god, these guys, and I was not expecting the ritual. I was like, I mean, this cutting down like that. I was like, what the hell? It was like Predator 2 all over again for me. I was like, these bunch of drug dealers killing this guy and brutal, like up slash. It's just like crazy. But I don't know if you guys had the laughed out moment when Denise, Isabel's character gets shot in the arrow. I was like, what the hell? Like, how did it was so comedic. I was like, what the hell? They could have done something that was more dramatic, that maybe one of them was hiding from the bushes and to like stab her. Like that could have been more shocking, but no. They had to contrive like an arrow showing her leg. And so yeah, our characters went off, and it's a good chase scene, but I kind of agree with Cyber. It just kind of like they could have done more creative way to do this scene. I have to say, like it could have been exciting, like this, like just one moment where like Ellie is like standing in this like middle of like the forest and hearing the the whistles, because it's a great tactic to scare people, or like a great way to be horrified during the moment. And I just kind of wish they took advantage of that, because like after that she sees the hospital, and I was like how does she know that? And like how she knows that? I mean, we'll get into the next scene, but like there's a lot of questions I was thinking about. It's like, how does she know that Nora is in hospital? Like, does she know that everyone has their jobs? Like, that's weird. I never thought about that. But anyway, overall, the sequence was good. I like to see more of the set of fights. They're very interesting characters. I think we'll see more of it if they do adapt the game, because we do see another point of view, as Darren mentioned in the beginning of the show. So I'm very curious if they're going to do that, because that's the only way I saw it for them to really explain about who's this group, because we know from the new character we just met this season, she has connection to it, and I'm very curious if they're going to do that this season. Well, really, I think third season, really, because they don't have time for this season, because we only have 2 episodes really. So, but yeah, I like this section. They could have done more, but it was okay.
Okay. All right. So back over to episode 5. And as we already discussed, this is when the episode does really pick up again, when you get, Ellie continuing to the hospital, after getting out of the park from the Seraphites alone. She chases Nora from episode 3 and episode 2 and 1 into the quarantined basement that is covered in airborne cordyceps spores, which infect Nora, but not Ellie. Nora realizes Ellie was the immune girl for whom Joel had killed the Fireflies. Ellie reveals she already knows what Joel did to save her and beats Nora with a pipe to find Abby's whereabouts. And that's how the episode closes out. So that pretty much explains what happens during the hospital, other than we get to see Ellie checking out all of the different infected that are creating the spores, by being attached to the walls and shit like that, and all overgrown. But I'll go back to you first, Darwin. What do you think about the ending section of the episode, sir?
I love the ending section. I was like, okay, here we go. This is what I've been waiting for. I love how they finally brought the spores into the show, because that is something I didn't realize they didn't have it in season 1. That is one difference there. So it was cool to see them introduce it here. And I thought it was sad to see, because I think we Ellie, she finds the son of the Asian
Yeah,
chick from the beginning.
Leon's there against the wall breathing the
Yeah,
fucking
and like
spores
you
in.
see him breathing the spores out of his mouth, and I'm like, that's tragic, you know. And he's just sitting there like, hell, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And weirdly enough, that scene looks beautiful. Like it's they did a great job with the set. But it was really cool to see. And then what I remember loving the red color grading in the game for that scene. And then when she flips on the power, switch, and then it's red, I'm like, okay, I think they're gonna do it. And then she catches Nora, and I feel like that conversation was pretty much beat for beat like the game, if I'm remembering it correctly. And I was thrilled, and like it was so intense, that conversation, and you can feel, just like that tension, that they have towards each other, and like these differing perspectives, because this whole show and the whole game, it's all the overall theme of it is that perspective is everything, you know and so we're seeing Nora. I don't like Nora, obviously, because I'm on Ellie's side in this, because I love Joel and I'm upset that he was killed. But you see, it's all a matter of perspective. But what I really appreciated at the end of this episode, after she's done beating her with the pipe, it kind of focuses on Ellie's face, and like it's not just like a rage thing, but you feel like there's something not okay with Ellie. It's like it's further than the anger about what happened to Joel, and it's much more like something, like a screw fell out, and a screw is loose, and it's like you can see it in her eyes. And I just think Bella Ramsey did an impeccable job in her performance with that particular scene, because I was like, okay, this is about to take a dark turn, and I think we're going to see a really twisted, or maybe at least more twisted, version of Ellie. And how, with the episode then kind of jumping to this flashback that I think they're probably going to focus on for the next episode, it almost feels like a dark parallel, where it's like where Ellie is now versus where she was, before Joel died and before she found out what he did. And so I'm excited to see what they do with it. No, the end of this episode got me really hyped and really excited for the rest of this season. But I'm also like eager, because I know they're not going to be able to tell the full story this season. I think they've said it's going to take multiple seasons, and so I think we're going to be in for a treat. I think they're really doing some course correction. I feel like Imram, what you were saying earlier about how the middle of the season kind of like has a bit of a dip in terms of pacing, and it's kind of like the filler, I suppose you could say. I feel like we're at the end of the filler and we're about to get some payoff. So I'm excited. I really love the end of this episode, and I think just the ending alone makes the whole episode worth watching, with its pros and its cons. So I think it pays off well.
Okay, thank you, sir. Andres, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the finale was really the highlight here, because two things, as obviously Dorian brought before, the scene, the red light, silhouette being adapted to that. I was not expecting that, so it was a really cool, see, that was good writing. Like, turn on the thing and you get that. Like, it's not that hard to be realistic and like it makes sense. But man, I love that you brought up the cinematography here. Like, I saw the behind the scenes. By the way, great. I love HBO doing that. They always do that with their shows, and it was great when they talked about the scene here. It's like so like cinematic. Like, I mean, seeing the spores, like they really like, you think about adapting the game. This felt like the game for me. Like, just seeing the spores and seeing like the air and like seeing them puffing it. I was like, oh my god, this is like the video game, and it's like you know, because like when you're playing the game, you like you usually don't like do the storyline like properly. Like you're just like looking around, it's like, let me see here, let me see here, Easter egg, something like that. And just looking around the whole area, like it reminds me of the game. And man, when I saw the kid who's the son, I was like, oh my god, that's just so dark and like very like Mordred, just seeing the kid there just laying there and slowly infected. It was just like to see Ellie seeing that is kind of sad. I want to say like the Nora actress, she's really great. If you haven't seen her work, she's in the Netflix show You. She's really great in that. She was in that like awful, unfortunately, the awful video game adaptation of Uncharted. She's one of those main characters there. I don't know who, but she's really great in this episode. Like the fact she nailed the character there. Like she was so like at first, like you kind of like she was kind of sympathetic, but then she started to become really douchey, and like the way she turned the switch, I was like, oh my god, and the way she talks to her, was really great. And then her realizing that she was like the immune girl that was supposed to have the surgery with the fireflies, and that was really great reveal. And I was so happy, and that's what I mean that I like this episode more, because this episode like actually pay off the thing that I was asking from the beginning of the episode. Does Ellie knows about what happened with the first season? And it was the answer yes. And because this was very different, because the way like she took her out was very different from the game. Because I think the game she knew at that time that Joel did something, but that was not the reason she did it, because she did love Joel. But here it's very different the way she did it. Like the way she attacked her was very different. So like the fact she knows what happened, it's like, why you're so angry at these people? The fact that that, and you should know that was gonna to happen to Joel, that someone from the Fireflies could go after them. So I'm very intrigued about now those questions. And what I like about this show, something I don't like about like shows like Lost, which I haven't seen, but I don't like shows that does mystery. This show does a really good job of paying off those answers right away. We had first season. The reason I love first season so much, and I'm sorry to take this up, but like here's the thing: they pay off the answers right away in their episode. When we got the episode with Ellie running with the friend to the mall, that episode was so important because we got every confirmation of like, okay, this is where she got infected first. This is how she got captured by the Fireflies. This is how she got the funny book. And like everything made sense to that point of that episode we saw. And then same thing with the Bill episode, that was really cool to see, seeing another perspective, but then seeing that Joe knew him with Tash, and then the end of it, so we got to pay out that he went there to like get some supplies or whatnot, and so I think we'll get the answer in next episode. The answer, like, okay, she knows the answer why, like, what this is why we're gonna get it. So I think we're not gonna stay too long with the flashback, because this show doesn't stay too long with the flashback as some of the other shows tend to do, and it becomes a filler. So I think that's one thing I'm very excited about. But yeah, this was a fantastic end of the episode. I just cannot praise it enough. The acting was really top notch. This is where I think Bailey Ramsey really acted like her butt off really well, and like I cared what was going on, and the production value was really great. It felt like The Last of Us game part 2. I just wish we have more episodes. Like you can make multiple seasons. I think you just like organize this. Like you have this season with Ellie, and then maybe next season you can switch the point of view with someone else, which I can maybe talk later if they do that. But yeah. So I was very satisfied towards the end. So very good.
All right, Imran.
Fantastic ending. Best part of the episode, easily. Like everybody said, I love the moment Nora, like you guys were talking about when Ellie's there and Nora's messing with her head, and she's like, "Yeah, I think about killing him. I think about and then she's like, "Little bitch got what he deserved," and throws the fucking bleach at her. Brilliant, great chase. And so finally getting the confirmation, like you just said, Andres. This is what and it's great they gave it to us. She knew this whole time. Now you got to think about the beginning of the season. it kind of recontextualizes all of that. If you go back and watch again, knowing that she knew what happened is very interesting, and that yet she's still on this revenge mission. Like, basically, it tells me she knows he murdered a bunch of people. It was to save her. She wanted to live. She probably, I guess she wouldn't have made the same decision. She wouldn't have let them kill her, right? Obviously. So she knows that he murdered a bunch of them, but she doesn't care. She's gonna get Abby anyways. But yeah, the set design, the cordyceps on the wall are creepy as fuck. You know, reminds me a little bit of like Aliens, the organic inside growth, but it's colorful.
Yeah,
like the
city
hive.
morphs. Yeah.
But this one is a lot more moist and bumpy and colorful. It's fucking creepy. I don't like it. Yeah, the other great moment is where Nora's like, "Don't you know we did? You killed us both." And Ellie's just like, "Did I?" And then the whole thing comes. But to your point, Darwin, all Nora knows is this dude came in with this girl, and then gave us the girl, and then just killed all of us and took the girl. Like that's all she saw. That's her point of view, right? And but Ellie's has a different point of view. So no, it was great. The flashback at the end, as I think exactly what you said, to be like from her darkest time, cuts to when she was happy. And I want to see that moment Joel tells her what happened. I would love to see the reaction. I like that they're gonna possibly fill us in, and we get to see Pedro back because he needs to be in everything. We're missing him. And do we even get to Abby at all by the end of this season? Or is that where, having played the game, where are they cutting this off? I feel like it'll end, the end of the finale, she will have just gotten to Abby, and then the whole next season will be more Abby. Because and I need to know this when you guys play the game. I know that you play as Ellie, and I know that you play as Abby.
Yeah.
I find that very interesting. How are they going to try to do that? How is that going to work?
I have a theory of where I think this season is going to cut.
Okay.
I don't want to like get into it because I don't want to like spoil ahead of this episode.
Maybe I don't want to know.
Yeah, they do it. I mean, I guess was unfortunate. Just quickly answer your question, man. They did it right during the Forrest Jackson part, which they didn't do because I was surprised they killed Joel at that point, so they could have done that.
Oh.
But yeah, so I'm very curious when they're gonna do the Abby part. I haven't gone that far with part 2 where they did the part when I saw where Abby is connected to the cult group that we saw the season. So I don't know.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil, but I'm curious where they're gonna do that. But that's the part where I'm like, okay, they're gonna probably do it there. Yeah, to focus on Abby, and I think they will do that next season because this season was testing like, could people get along seeing Ellie? You know, because remember we have Joel, and I think right now people are sort of fine right now. It's like, okay, and plus they have a great actress playing Abby, so it's like, okay, if we don't have to spend like Saber is not liking the stuff with Deneen and Ellie, so next season we're going to focus on this actress from the Last Man Standing, and then it'll be great. So yeah, so hopefully they do that next season.
Imran, did you have anything else to say, sir?
No, sir. That's it.
Okay, Cyber.
So the conclusion of the episode I really enjoyed, especially when Ellie gets there and confronts this chick, and just how unremorseful this chick is cracks me up. And I'm just like, Jesus, you try to pour on the like, oh, that's a worse thing to see, and then all of a sudden that guy was a little bitch. Was like, what? Like, you totally just decimated what you were just trying to do, lady. Like, you just screwed yourself. And that chase is absolutely fantastic. Her going after her and stuff, and she's like running and saying, "Get her, and stuff like that." It was awesome. Her jumping down into the elevator shaft. I was like, "Whoa, that's ballsy!" And her falling down was like crazy. And eventually, Ellie's being shot at and everything, and she makes her way down to the basement floor, which is where it's kind of off limits because of what's going on with the spores. And especially from what we saw, at the very beginning of the episode, we kind of get that, talking about the bottom of the basement of the hospital. And so she goes in there, she's gasping, and Ellie's not even it's not even affecting her. And she's like, like, you aren't affected by this, are you? Like, nope. And, you know, basically when Ellie says she already knew what Joel did, I was like, not shocked, not really, you know, like she probably did already know somehow. I don't know if Joel told her or if, you know, somebody told her or she found out somehow. I have no idea, but that was not shocking, I felt. And just like how she was just like nonchalant about it was fantastic. And probably the one time I thought Bella Ramsey was okay in a scene. She did not irritate me. And I thought she actually did a good job there. And, you know, I was like, you know, awesome as the other chicks gasping from the spores and everything. And then just like everyone else has said, the spores on the wall and stuff was like freaking awesome. The person right in the middle of it and everything was like freaking awesome. But I feel throughout the episodes that we've seen previously, as if we have noticed that like this material that is causing the zombification of people and stuff like that, we've seen it been growing into things. We've seen it expanding and stuff like that throughout the episode so far. So this isn't really shocking either that it's turning into a spore, you know, thing. Like we can see this thing is it definitely whatever, you know, this disease is that has caused this outbreak is evolving and that it's changing and that it has to evolve in order to keep on killing, you know? So that wasn't shocking. And I think that was really cool though. I thought that was really great. You know, CGI or practical effects, whatever they use there. I thought they did a really great job and that looked really cool. And then, you know, Ellie beating her was really great too. I love that. I thought that was awesome. And then of course, you know, it going, you know, blacking out of that and then all of a sudden going to her waking up in bed and Joel comes in. We get a brief Pedro Pascal moment and it's like 5 seconds and it's done. You're like, oh, are you serious? You bring it back for 5 seconds and that's it? Like, goddamn. So yeah, very solid ending to this episode. Probably one of the stronger episodes I felt. And I enjoyed the ending. I thought that was really entertaining and it wasn't too focused on the relationship. And it was focused on the zombie apocalypse that we're dealing with. So I really enjoyed that.
Okay. Thank you, Cyber. Most definitely. So yeah, I mean, all great takes, guys. You know, why don't we get into our ratings and then we'll do our plugs and we'll get out of here and wrap up this live stream / podcast episode. So I'll start with you, Cyber, since I was just with you. What's your rating on this episode, sir?
I will give it a 7 out of 10. Like I said, the beginning and the ending were absolutely fantastic. The cult thing was really fantastic. So there was very minimal irritating moments. So I think it's an outstanding episode. So I give it a 7.
Okay, Darwin, give me your rating, sir.
It's a solid episode. Again, like I love the ending. I think they do a great job introducing the spores. We start to really see like this different side of Ellie where it shows us the weight of it, of how this is affecting her, and it's like you can feel like it's not just that they killed Joel. It's like it's that they killed her opportunity to rekindle her relationship with him. And so I feel like they really do a good job of showing that emotion. I've just had a hard time getting on board with like just some of the differences. Like I said, she's not as clever as she is in the game, and she's not as hardened. And I want to see this tougher version of her that you get to play as in the game. And some of the writing was convenient, I felt like, throughout the episode, but it starts strong and it ends strong. It's just the middle gets, it has like its highs and lows. So I think I would give it a 3 out of 5 stars. I think like a 6 out of 10. So I think that's where I would just about sit with it, but it's definitely solid episode. One of the better ones of the season, I would say.
Okay. Andres?
Yeah, this one's tough. This I will give it like an 8 out of 10. I have to say, because Darren, you hit it like right, like perfectly, and it begins well and it ends well, and I like that. I don't care how you do your middle part. Like, just get me to the end and satisfy me. And that's what this episode did, and because like last week it had a great opening, but the ending was like, and so I was happy that we got a better ending for this. So I really enjoyed this one. Just wrapping up, just like the production was like everything was top notch for this episode. The production, the acting. So I was so satisfied for this episode. And I don't care about convenience and all that. I can forgive that if you're telling a good story, and I think that's the point about this episode. I tell a good story. I was satisfied. I was happy they answered a thing that was like bugging me this whole season. So I say 8.5 out of 10 is the perfect score for this episode.
Imran.
Yeah, no, I agree with everybody's reasons and good and bad things. I'm at a 7. I think it's a solid 7. Great ending. But so like you said, I think you said it perfectly just there. They're telling a good story. So sometimes there's some contrivances. There's some things that are convenient. Sometimes you need an exposition dump right at the beginning to say, work it in. It had a lot of those, but also really big things like the revelation that she knew the whole time. So 7 out of 10, solid episode, and the show continues to be great. And I can't wait to hang out with Pedro Pascal in the next episode in flashback. I think we're gonna get an hour back with Mr. Fantastic. He's got to promote his movie, so he's got to come back.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5 myself. It was a solid episode. Definitely a better episode than like the first episode or the second episode were kind of rough. This was a much stronger, good action, good infected stuff, I thought. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much. Great job, everybody. That is, it's a short episode, so not surprising that it only took us an hour and 10 to run through it. So but great job, guys. That's us wrapping up on The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 5, and we'll do our plugs, and I will go over to Mr. Imran at the Jock and Nerd Podcast and let him start. You start, sir.
All right. If you're looking for an audio podcast, just search the Jock and Nerd Podcast. We love to review comic book and superhero, TV, and movie things, news, and reviews. We just did Mission Impossible 2. We got Thunderbolts, Sinners. We're going to be doing the new Mission Impossible and Karate Kid Legends, but new episodes for free every week we've been putting out we are in our 11th year. So there's lots of content, hundreds of hours of stuff. Check it out. There's going to be something that you enjoy. I guarantee it.
Congrats on year 11. That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know how it's on autopilot and we just keep doing it.
They cover a lot of TV over there at the Jock and Nerd, without question. You guys cover a lot of television. You cover a lot of the same stuff that we cover, which is great.
Yeah.
All right. So, Darwin, let's go to your podcast, sir.
Yeah. So I have there it is right there. Got my Spotify and Apple podcast called Darwin's Room. I'm Dominican, so my play on words there is Darwin's Room is also DR, Dominican Republic.
Oh, fun.
So that was my little nod there. I review a lot of movies. I just recently revamped it. So there's not like a bunch of episodes, but I'm starting to put out more. So you got Thunderbolts there, Accountant 2. I have a few more that I just recorded 2 days ago that I just got to finish editing, and then I'll be posting those as well. And then I have the Instagram channel as well, just called Darwin's Room Official. So yeah, give me a follow. Check out the podcast. All I do is talk about movies, and I'm always encouraging people to comment and let me know their thoughts, because I love having conversations about film and what are other people's thoughts on the movies that we're all watching. So yeah, I love it.
Most definitely. All right. So next I will go to you, Cyberneticshark, and then we'll wrap up with Andres.
Okie dokie, folks. All right. So if you enjoy me here on the panel, or if you enjoy me as a moderator here on the MC's Bleeding Edge, you can check out my solo content. You'll find me under Cyberneticshark. You'll find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, Threads, X, pretty much anywhere. As you see there, my most recent video up, I just put it up today, my trailer reaction to a upcoming horror body film called Together, starring Alison Brie and Dave Franco. If you haven't seen that, check out that trailer. Also, my most recent review is Death of a Unicorn. If you have not seen that film, check out that review on that as well. We'll be having more reviews and trailer reactions up for you guys soon. Quite a few trailers have dropped recently. Today alone, we had a new Superman trailer, along with the trailer for Ironheart dropped today too as well. As you can see there, I put up a mini trailer reaction to Superman there. That's my most recent short, along with my mini review of Until Dawn, which I just saw last Saturday, which was a decent movie. Great video game adaptation. Really enjoying that movie. I thought it was really good, so check out that. We'll have a full-length review of that soon for you guys. You can see there I did Ringu movie mini review too as well. Check that out too if you're interested in the original Ring from Japan. And I'll be having more shorts up for you guys soon. Just went and saw Sinners, so I'll be doing a mini review of that soon and a full-length review of that as well. Still haven't seen Thunderbolts. Got to go see that. Count 2 as well, so forth. So just going to keep up putting up stuff for you guys. So keep on watching, keep on subscribing. Appreciate you guys. And keep watching us here on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. We appreciate you all.
Okay. Andres.
Hello, everyone. Well, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight for The Last of Us Episode 2, Episode 5 Life Guide review. It was great to see you, Everett. It was always a pleasure to talk to you with pop culture stuff. Darren, welcome aboard with MC Bleeding Edge. I hope we will see you again soon. It was fun to talk to you. Great Spider-Man stuff in the background. But yeah, so recently I just posted the 3 trailer reactions that me and Jeff did before a long time. Like last month we did Age of Ultron. It's right there. I did post like a funny clip from Powerpuff Girls. This was a funny episode where they like asked one of the retired superheroes to come out for retirement to stop their old foes because apparently Blossom just couldn't fight these old guys. So he just because she say what she say? Respecting the elders. And I was like, what the hell? Like you're superpowers, you can beat these guys up. But anyway. You understand the clip here if you're a big Powerpuff Girls fan. So that's it. I'm working right now my Star Wars Episode 3 Adventure tribute. This 20th anniversary is this year. So and we did the live stream review last week. I had to discuss with Jeff about the new one that we're going through. The next to another follow-up, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Just it's right now slowing down on. I do also movie clips as well. Did one for the Joker, very iconic scene. Tonight I'll probably maybe do another short, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for coming tonight. Please support me, Cyber, everyone here to grow in the nearest future. And yes, and just like Imran, this is my 11th year doing YouTube.
Oh, nice.
You know, so yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, it was great. I really appreciate everybody that came on tonight. Thank you, Cyber, Andres, Darwin, Imran. Wonderful to have everybody on tonight. We'll be back for Andor Episode 4 on Friday. And until then, we'll see everybody later.
Bye.
We are out of here.
God bless you guys.
Peace.
Take care. Thanks so much.